He'll give us the extension in this email right here. At that meeting, February 2nd, February 4th, he stated that he want to meet. We should not be fighting. People on both sides are getting harmed because there's people on both sides care for us, right? We're hurting people on both sides of this fight, his sides and ours, and it need to stop. And I agree with him that he want to meet. Guess what? To this day, the meeting has not taken place. I went to his office for the meeting. I emailed him twice for the meeting. The board president of NANA emailed him. I called him. I got one text message back saying he was going to reach out for the meeting. That was maybe 2 weeks after the February 4th meeting. To this date, the meeting has not happened, right? So I just want to say that it was so hurtful to hear him call people who work hard in this community thugs, criminals, that we terrorists, right? The same commissioner that said to me when he was a city commissioner, when my stepfather come home, Leroy, I'm going to send him to you and the Circle of Brotherhood to help him. The same commissioner that said that. But now we thugs and criminals and terrorists because we love our community, because we want to see the best for the people. It's another house right there. Right next to it, you'll see the same sign on the side of this house where the construction has started, right? That we can't complete because we can't access the money. And notice now, he is the only elected official that can bring the item to the Board of County Commissioners because it's in his district. So the county has this new rule that the commissioner of the district is the only person that can bring legislation to the commission for approval or denial. He promised us, I got proof here, that our item was sent to the board chairman, which is Oliver Gilbert at the time, was sent to him to be placed on the agenda. 2 emails from them. Guess what the board chairman said? The item was never, the board chairman office said, the item was never sent to them. So he stated to us, his office stated to us twice that they sent the legislation to give us the extension to the chairman's office back in September. And the board chairman, Oliver Gilbert at the time, office stated to us, his chief of staff stated to me that the item was never sent to their office, which means it was games, right? That's all it can mean to me, it was games. So while we at this place, we shouldn't be. Our track record proves for itself. He asked that the mayor's office do a study on our funding, the Circle of Brotherhood and NANA, but in the report, he asked for a report. In the report, somehow, Tools for Change ended up in the report, and there was nowhere in the conversation at neither one of the board meetings, but they ended up in the write-up. Why? Because he wanted to tie to make people think that we are getting all this money, right? So he wanted to spin off a negative approach as it relates to that. In the study, the only thing was in non-compliance, and I got a copy of it here, was the lots. And in the study, it said it's non-compliance. Why? Because the extension has not been granted. Who the only person can grant the extension? Now you tell me that ain't politics. He said at the same commission meeting, February 4th, oh, people think this about Commissioner Edmondson. But at the same meeting, he said, Leroy, you need to get out of politics. How you gonna say it ain't about Commissioner Edmondson? It ain't about Commissioner Edmondson. It is about Commissioner Edmondson. It's about her giving us lots that he said one of his first agenda things he talked about was that all the lots she gave away out of his district before he came a commissioner. She gave away all the lots from me. And go to all the people who she gave lots to and see what condition they in. See if they took them back from them. Yeah. That's what you do. Okay? So it is about politics. It is about support. Right? And more. So I got copies of the report stating that there's no findings There's no issues with any of the lots, all with no issues with any of the funding we received. All is in compliance. The only item that is not in compliance is the lots. And they are not in compliance. Why? Because he has not granted extension so we can continue to build. So I think I said enough. I want to call up one of the homeowners who happen to have one of these lots like this. His house is in the same condition and been like that probably a year and a half. Mr. Jeffrey here, you want to share some words? Come on, Mr. Jeffrey.
Hello, my brothers. How y'all doing? Jeffrey Johnson. I pursued the first-time home buyers meeting back in 2017 with Key to Know realtors. I had to get pre-approved. I completed the seminars and everything. I was pre-approved for a lot that's on 17th Ave and 64th Street. I was pre-approved for $245,000. At that time, the home was $205,000. That was in 2018. 2020, I was promised to be in the home around October. Unfortunately, the world went through the pandemic and everything, and things shut down. I understood that. 2022, they proceeded to start calling me and said, hey, guess what, by the community, by the world being open back up and everything was back functioning, they reached out to me in 2022. They said, we got to get pre-approved again. At that time, the homes had done went up and to 318, to 318,000. And so had to get pre-approved again. Me and my family member, we issued all the paperwork. Then 6 months went by, we had to get pre-approved again. And then we was promised that last year, a year of this time, okay, I think they started on the lots and started building. So all these technicalities we had to get in order, the credit and everything, which it was. But unfortunately right now, the funds that I did have and was blessed with has been depleted at this time. So, but I still was patient enough to still wait on a response. At the time the homes was getting built, and I noticed that it just stopped. The home stopped. I haven't received a call and anything. I ran into the realtor, the agent that was seeing me. I bumped into her on the streets, and she explained to me what was going on. I know this young man, but I've just been patiently waiting, I didn't know what the outcome was or why was this, but I know I was aggressively approached by, need to get this in order, get this in order, get this in order. We presented the lenders with paperwork and everything. We didn't hear anything from them anymore. So right now, I ride by 17th Avenue and the home is still in that state. They started doing the footers and everything, the groundwork. I think it was back in March. We was promised to be in the home October 30th of 2024. But before then, the building just stopped. So I just been patiently waiting. When this young man called me yesterday, and asked me could I attend, I could not let him down. I had to be here to share my story. That is it.
So my closing words is, if anybody have any doubt if we got experience in building houses, we got 4 houses right in this neighborhood that been completed before the pandemic happened. All black families, all moved in their house at 205 at that time. So each one of those homeowners have at least $300,000 worth of equity in their house already, which could have happened to the same people if we wouldn't been held up these last 4 years. We haven't completed 1 house in 4 years. We got 8 houses under construction right now. We haven't completed any since Commissioner Keon Hardeman been in office because he's been delaying, he's been promising to help and delaying tactics, and nothing has happened. So I just want him to know he's holding up black families that live in this community that he say he care about from moving into a home, a brand new home. Thank you.
So family, before we take questions from press only, just in terms of next steps. First of all, those of you who are out there listening, I want to give an applaud, first of all, to the new publication called Community News Network. Is that what it's called?
Caribbean.
The Caribbean? Caribbean News Network, they did a pre-story on why we were here today, and they included in the body of their story all of the links that you would need to be able to correspond and follow along with what you just heard from Mr. Leroy Jones. Secondly, those of you who know of the reputation of any of these individuals who are standing here that represent the Circle of Brotherhood, that represent Neighbors and Neighbors Association, by affiliation or by even employment, if you know of their good character, if you know of their good standing, on January 22nd, the character of these individuals was attacked. And so you might want to write letters to your commissioners to find out where they stand. Just for the record, we've entered to the commissioners a 7-question inquiry around the facts that took place on January 22nd, which led up to us still being here today with the extension not being approved. There was the alleged allegation that a threat was made. Yet, in video and looking at the correspondence, we see no threat. So we're asking the commissioners and the county attorney, please identify the threat that led to a policy that put our funding on hold via investigation. Lastly, one of the things that we're also asking about, why are the inquiries into our work only about finances? On that day, January 22nd, I heard valuable testimony about violence intervention and prevention work that's being done in our community, and not one commissioner said anything about it. So what we're asking for is, please check into our track record for what we represent. And my last comment before opening up to questions, in less than 2 weeks, the National Community Violence and Intervention World is coming to Miami. They will be here to celebrate the graduation of the 3rd cohort of students from the University of Chicago. Why'd they pick Miami? It's because of the great work and sacrifice of these men and women who you see standing here. So look, it'd be nice to have some local support. So we also call on private philanthropy now. If we're going to be roadblocked, then we're asking you to step up too. And so I'll close with that. And at this time, I'll press if there are any questions.
Can you give like a timeline of like when you all were approved for like the funding to when like there was a stopgap?
So remember, we have funding already to build the first houses that we built. Right? First 4 houses. That's 3. That 3 of them is in the close neighborhood. You can actually walk to see them. Right? Then the pandemic came. And when the pandemic came, then lenders was not favorable of lending money, even to big developers. So government shut down. So we experienced almost 3 years of that. So that's almost 5 of our 8 years right there. 6 of our 8 years right there. Right? So then we was fortunate enough to get some state money. We got $1 million from a state organization. We got approved for $3 million from MD, Miami-Dade Economic Advocacy Trust, through their BBIF partner. And then we got approved for $3.7 million through public housing and community development.
And how much is the city, like how much is he supposed to approve, the commissioner?
The 3.7, which was already approved now.
Okay.
It was already approved by the Board of County Commission. However, we can't access it because of the deeds restriction have to be extended.
And so obviously he sent the letter saying you all would be defaulted. You are default and you have 30 days. What happens?
So
after
the
that?
letter didn't come from him directly. It came from public housing and community development.
Okay.
Right? However, he's the only one that can authorize that to be done. So he authorized it to be done.
And
So if he was honoring his word as it relates to wanting to work with us, don't want to see no harm come to us. When he got noticed that we was getting that notice, he could have stopped it.
So what does it mean now? Obviously, if you can't complete it in 30 days, what then happens?
What it means is we got to move to the next level. We got to do what we need to do to defend black people. That's who these houses for. So we're not just going to lay down and take that. We've done nothing wrong. However, track record proves he's going to try to find all kind of things. Listen, so at the February 22nd commission meeting, we was only allowed to speak 1 minute. He was able to speak as long as he wanted to. So he was able to call us all those names, all those disrespectful names, and say whatever he want to convince them, some of them, that we was terrorists. At first, they didn't see it. One of the commissioners said, well, Leroy didn't say nothing wrong. Leroy ain't did nothing wrong. He wasn't loud. He wasn't none of that. Why is we lumping Nana into that? And then after the Hardeman said what he said okay, yeah, I see it now. He could be a thug too. In so many words, that's what he said. You know, he a part of it too. But he was able to convince them because he had the time. That's their arena. We can't win there. They can speak as long as they want to, right? Most of them gonna cover each other back because they want that commissioner to vote for them on their things too. So we can't win in that arena. Especially when you only got 1 minute to talk. What can you say?
You mentioned that, these are going to black families, specifically in this community. How many black families have been delayed by this process?
So the way it works is, as time go by, they start looking for other organizations that can help them get in housing. And so we'll get a email stating that person want to cancel their contract because they've been waiting a year, 2 years, 2.5 years. And I commend every family that went through the first-time home buyers program, Keys to Know first-time home buyers program, to get qualified. And remember, this could not have happened if we didn't have a qualified buyer approved for it. So somebody was approved for this money, for this house. You cannot start construction with infill lots without having a buyer qualified and approved for that. So that family went through everything they needed to do and got approved for this house to be built.
And how many families affected by, even those that have said?
If I would say a number, I would probably say 30. Or close to it, around that number. We just received 2 letters last week from 2 families saying, I want to move on. And we can't keep holding them there.
What is your hope? This is my last question. What is your hope that happens from this press conference? Are you hoping that Keon Hardeman releases the funds, or he has the change of heart? Are you hoping at least have a conversation with him? What are you hoping comes from this press conference?
So, evidently, we don't want to waste our time fighting, right? Because there's so many needs in this community. It's so many people that need help. There's so many issues we have in our community, other than us fighting, right? He just need to do what he said out his mouth, right? On February the 4th, that he want to get past this. And if anybody watched the commission meeting, he literally jogged from behind the dais and came and hugged me, like he was sincere. I can't tell you how many calls and text messages I got from people saying, oh, they happy to see that. Oh, y'all finally going to work together. That's great. That's good. Both of y'all doing good things in the community. To not even get the return phone call for the meeting that he requested. So.
So we want to thank you all out there. Please share. Please share. If you want to find out anything about the work of Circle of Brotherhood, www.circleofbrotherhood.miami.org.
So you need to know this too. We continue to have to keep these lots clean. So as long as we own them, we still have to maintain them. So when people illegally dump, we have to clean them. Guess what? Nobody reimburses us for that, right? We still have to pay to get the permits updated. So when the permits expired, we have to pay to get them updated. Here's what I know not a coincidence. The same day we get the default letter, we started getting letters from the building department saying the permits expired. Same day we started getting them. So that wasn't a coincidence, right? So.
And Brother Leroy, may I say one thing for the record about the February 4th meeting?
Yes, sir.
While Mr. Jones was being embraced as if an olive branch was being sent out, the same said Commissioner Hardeman sent a code compliance officer to our institute to investigate false claims about illegal building. If you go back to the meeting, the code compliance officer is there at the very same time he's mentioning it from his dais.
Right.
We want honesty.
Right.
We want honesty. So again, we thank you all for your time and attention. Those of you who can share this message and this word, do so. And we pray that God's will be done and that families like our brother, come on back up here, brother. It's one thing for us to see our brother just standing up here, but this man represents a family. This man represents economic stake in a community. So is somebody going to be retaliatory or jealous or whatever the root of this may be and block families like this?
But bigger than that.
Come on.
He's a county employee.
Wow.
Wow.
He's blocking a house from a county employee.
Do
He's
the
a
right
county
thing.
employee.
Do the right thing.
Wow.
Do
That's
the right
crazy,
thing.
right?
Do
This
the
man
right thing.
worked for our county, keeping our county moving, and he can't get a house
Do the right thing.
because of nonsense.
Do the right thing. Thank you for your time and attention. God bless you.
Brotherhood! 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 Who do we serve? Our community. Who do we serve? Our community. Snap it up if you still here.